Well, Dipsy's with us as well, looking at what's making the news right around the world. I'm going to start, Dipsy, aren't you, with a story that we mentioned yesterday on the programme, actually, but incredible to see some of the pictures on it. This terrible haze of pollution that literally paralysed the Indian capital, New Delhi, yesterday.
It did paralyze the city, and it's on the front pages of pretty much all the Indian papers this Wednesday. It was like a gas chamber. That's what one paper, The Hindu, says on its front page, as a blanket of smog engulfed New Delhi yesterday. While the Times of India says, "Delhi, you're killing me." That's what they say here, calling yesterday's pollution episode an air apocalypse. Doctors declared a health emergency. Schools were shut down. There were major delays in the airports because of the smog. Planes couldn't land. And the city's air quality index, which measures the number of pollutants in the air, hit 448. Just to give you an idea, that's 7 times the safety threshold of 60.
Wow, the health damage of this pollution. I mean, it's extremely alarming, actually, isn't it?
It is. It's very alarming. People were complaining of headaches, of breathing problems, and that's actually what prompted doctors to declare a health emergency. One Indian website, DNA, says that it was for a child it was as dangerous as smoking 50 cigarettes in one day. The country's environmental authority has ordered emergency measures now, including a 4-fold increase in parking fees. They want to scale up public transport, lower the prices of subway tickets, and bring back the alternate license plate system.
Well, let's talk now about the latest controversy to hit Theresa May's government in the UK. Now, this one's involving her Secretary of State for International Development, Priti Patel.
This has actually been making headlines in the UK papers this Wednesday. Priti Patel is possibly facing the sack after meeting with Israeli leaders 12 times between August and September during what she lodged as personal vacation. So she was not on official business. Even worse, she didn't actually disclose these meetings or these trips to the foreign government, as is protocol. And it appears that she might have given discussed giving British foreign aid money to the Israeli army in what would be a huge strike on British foreign policy. Furthermore, she gave the impression, or at least appeared to give the misleading impression, that Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson knew about these meetings. Now, Priti Patel has issued an apology, but it looks like it might be too little too late for her.
Yeah, Patel's been slammed by The Guardian in their editorial today, hasn't she?
Well, The Guardian's really taking her to task this Wednesday in a very scathing editorial. I quote, "The Middle East is not New Zealand or Denmark, where a mid-vacation courtesy call can perhaps be informal and unfreighted. The Middle East is the most intractable, adversarial, and politically fractured place on the globe. Secret diplomacy by a minister in this manner is nothing less than mutinous." That's what the editors at The Guardian say, and it's a really poor reflection in the end on Theresa May's and her governance, as you see in this cartoon, also from The Guardian. Patel and her freelance policy making in Israel. Boris Johnson, who's facing his own controversy involving comments about a British journalist jailed in Iran that could work against her in her trial. So May clearly doesn't have a hold on her ministers.
Now, to something a little lighter, the French President Emmanuel Macron. He's inaugurating today the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi, as we told you about earlier on. It's the latest architectural wonder, really, by Jean Nouvel.
The famed French architect, that's right. It's a monumental moment for the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, which is holding its breath for this Louvre moment. That's on the front page of Khalij Times, which is an Emirati paper. As you said, the French President Emmanuel Macron will be inaugurating the latest Louvre Museum today. He's actually given an interview, his very first, to an Arab language paper called Al-Ittihad, in which he says the opening of the Louvre is a, quote, decisive shift in relations between the UAE and France. Now, The Guardian says this structure, which was designed by Jean Nouvel, they say it has an air of Sheikh chic, reminding us, though, that of the controversy that really shadowed its construction. A Human Rights Watch report in 2015 found that laborers working on the museum were being kept in slave-like conditions, being threatened with arrest or deportation if they complained about those conditions. The Guardian says the nature of how the building was made is all part of the story, a, quote, troubling facet to this spectacular artifact of our time.
Yeah, good to get to the other side of the story. And finally, we're going to end with a story about an unusual discount from a Japanese hotel chain.
This is from the British paper The Times, which explains that Tetora Hotels in Japan is giving what it calls a Baldy discount to its follically challenged customers. I had trouble getting that out. Cleaners, it's actually because cleaners have been complaining about the mess left behind by customers who do have hair. So the hotel's president, who is bald, by the way, has decided to issue this discount. Mind you, customers need to prove they're satisfactorily bald in order to benefit from the discount.
Can I have a partial discount?
I don't think that exists.
Does that not exist?
No.
That's not fair.
It's hair or no hair. No hair.
Okay, I suppose I just about fall into hair category. Tika Laurent there with the papers and Yuka with business before that.